by Stephen Loveridge. After completing his student life at Waikato University, Stephen moved to the big city to be a slightly different kind of student, not asking what that means. He's approaching the end of his first year of PhD research at the Start Centre, where he's studying New Zealand's experience of the First World War. His supervisors are James Bellage and Roberto Ravel. Stephen.
My work is concerned with the relationship between New Zealand's First World War war effort and public culture. And in trying to convey the interplay of that relationship, I'd like to use a cultural artefact as a centrepiece. In 1917, a sketching by a New Zealand soldier, Private Gordon Calman, appeared in a troop magazine published from the men being shipped from New Zealand to their ultimate destination at the Western Front. Tiki Talk was a rather light-hearted magazine, full of image poetry and amusing caricatures. The sights, sounds and sickness of sea voyaging made up the bulk of the content, that being the shared experience of its audience. And as such, Calman's work is in rather stark contrast. Calman depicts New Zealand transformed into a motherland, dedicated to a nationwide task. The North Cape bids farewell while a downward face sobs into the bosom of Taranaki, supported by an arm spanning the distance between Cook Strait and Lake Taupo. Now, as in Calman's work, the relationship between country and war effort was an intersection of physical and cultural landscapes. The historiography of New Zealand's effort of the First World War has easily focused upon the final or ultimate result of that process, the experience of those on the front lines. Gallipoli in particular has been something of a national focus and a national industry for some considerable time. However, we can also say something though about mobilisation under that tip of the iceberg. New Zealand's war effort produced 364,000 tonnes of socks, over 4 million pounds of butter, and near 51% of the eligible male population for use as soldiers. However, the non-physical aspects of this process have been less mapped, and ideological mobilisation, intimately interwoven with its physical counterpart, functioned to lubricate that process. Existing fashions, ideologies and patterns established well before 1914 were continued for new purposes. This process was active in public culture, and it was this side of mobilisation which was the Great War experience for far more New Zealanders than those who went to the front. Now, my approach to studying this process is to select 4 of the more prominent intersections of mobilisation in public culture. And to briefly run through those, we have collective identity, which examines how pre-war conceptions of identification were used for various purposes through the war. Masculinity, mostly concerned with how soldiering was defined as a distinctive and distinctively masculine task. Social decorum examines how pre-war codes of behaviour interacted with that idea that non-soldiers had some kind of definable place in the struggle. And lastly, vilification examines how ideas of deviance are seen in conceptions of public enemies which circulated through public culture. Examining the results of ideological mobilisation in these areas and theorising upon how the process works are the major aims of my thesis. Thank you.
Well, it's my turn again. Thanks, Stephen, for a great talk. I really like to emphasise the beginning of the talk, and yours in particular immediately grabbed me. It was immediately interesting, and so thank you for that. I thought you kept engagement with the audience by keeping your head up and looking all the way around, and I really liked your slide. I enjoyed the cartoon, and that helped me understand your talk.
Thank you.